Just a quick addendum at the front, you guys. I didn't intend for the video to be as long as it is, but every frame is worth it. And you definitely want to stick around because I have some really entertaining stories at the end of the piece. Take it in context, listen with an open mind, throw out all opinion and feelings, and just receive. I'll see you soon. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I'm doing this video because there are people who would really like to hear me speak on this and know my thoughts. And then there's another group of people who are going to absolutely fall dead and faint out in the floor if I don't speak on this. Either way, I'm deeply honored that my opinion would be valued by you. I wasn't aware of this until different people start sending me messages. And here we go. And I figured it was a non-issue really at first, and maybe I still feel that way, but I'm always speaking from the heart when I speak, and so maybe as I speak through this, it will be cathartic and my feelings will be more brought more into fruition. I will also tell you that in trying to prepare this piece for you, I was trying to get the clip of her on this Fox 5. And I couldn't find it nowhere other than on Fox 5. I couldn't find any other outlet that had used it, either outlet or individual. I couldn't find nobody. So I decided to stand down. Although it's a teachable moment, because if I wanted to use it, I could under fair use, because it is Monique. She's a celebrity person being interviewed, and under fair use, I'm using it as commentary and not in its original form. Its original form is to have her on the show and to talk about Rosanne and other things. I would be using it to show, to do commentary on her words and to teach about things and that stuff. So that falls under fair use, all right? But even though it's legally available for me to use under fair use, I'm still an African dealing with this white devil ass people that run fucking YouTube, and I just don't feel like fighting. I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. I pick my battles. And so this doesn't need to be one of them. But I watched the clip, and it's so important, and I'm linking the clip. And if you've not seen it, then you shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't be saying anything at all if you haven't watched the clip. That's first. Secondly, you should not be talking if you watch the clip and you had other thoughts in your mind while you were watching it. You don't need to be speaking. You need to go and watch the clip. You also should not be speaking if you watch the clip and you were talking through it and shaking your head and being disgusted. You don't get to speak either. All of you need to go back and sit, or you need to click on the link in the description box under this video. You need to click on the link, but before you do that, you need to silence your soul, silence your mind, throw out the voices in your head, stop hearing things, stop hearing your own voice, throw out all opinion and feeling. You throw that out, and then you are prepared to hear it. You see, it's important, everybody, because I need you to understand that communication is something that is so critical. We always think about, well, if we get on an airplane and if one of the wings fall off, we're done. If you are deep sea diving and your scuba tank malfunctions, you're done. And we could come up with all these scenarios where it's over. Well, I feel that same way about communication. I feel that exact same way about communication, because it can derail in just a heartbeat if both parties communicating are not actually doing that, communicating. Somebody's waiting to speak, somebody's just holding an opinion, and they can't wait to tell their side, and ah ha 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 ha. No. And as I always tell you, we accept truth no matter where it comes from. No matter what the source, even if the Klansman is standing on my lawn with the robe and all of it, burning the cross, calling me every name, but oh my God, he says something that's truthful. I happen to overhear it. I recognize that truth, and then I take his fucking head off with my AR-15. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Truth has to be your first foot, everybody. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It must be your first foot. It must be the only thing you're interested in. That applies here. Because when I listened to Monique, and I didn't think I could be any more in love with her than I already am. And I fell even more in love with her. Because there was wisdom in what she had to say. And I know that my people only focused on the fact that here was this white bitch that said something, and now Monique is agreeing with her. Damn it! Quick, get out the burning pitchforks! Well, that's not how I see it. Because that's not how it is. That's not how it is. If you listened closely, if you go now and listen to the clip closely, she's not endorsing any damn thing that Rosanne said. But she can't also afford to be up there totally just fighting Rosanne's battle. That's why I open up about communication. Because there's a difference in the way the whole appearance would have gone. If she had gone the other way, it would have been, then she would have started breaking down racism and no. She had other shit she needs to talk about. She's on television. You need to understand television. And by the way, they gave her a fucking saga in television time. This was a very long interview, by television standards, Because usually it's, oh, hi, how you doing? And okay, we got a commercial. Make sure you pick up so-and-so's book and we'll be back. And they're over it. Well, that wasn't the case here. So, in television time, it was an eternity. And what she had to say was fair. It was non-hypocritical. It was above the fray. It silenced everybody, not only just in that studio, including the cameramen and the crew that you don't see on screen, but this appearance silenced everyone who witnessed it at the moment that they witnessed it. This was a shh, hold on, turn it up. This is one of those. But what makes it so valid for me is because when I've done videos about Monique, I've gone to great length to tell you about her character. Her character. You're just dealing with words and a reaction. You've got to take the whole of the person to understand that our sister has not erred here. She has not erred. And in fact, I'm going to even show you how she's been brilliant. Which won't be surprising because I think Monique is brilliant. All right. But you only took her in one thing. You understand what I'm telling you? What she did on this show was she talked about, because remember, she's in her own battle. Y'all still giving her grief. You see, as if she needed this. She could have just shut up and said, I'm over it. I'm over it. But she could have just, damn it, I just lost my train of thought. I knew it was coming and I tried to play it off. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I tried to camouflage. And then it came back again, like I still don't get the fuck what to say. Center Jedi. Center. So, she began, as a matter of fact, I should see if this article is going to tell us anything because I just pulled up 2 articles that had a heading and began speaking. All right. Monique calls Rosanne Barr her sister in comedy. Says she wouldn't put her on the racist list. Okay, I can deal with that. Because one of the things that she said was, when she had the Monique show. Oh, I know, alhamdulillah, all knowledge is with Allah. Let me go back when I was talking about character. I said, because I've told you guys about her character. Her character. I met Monique, and I shared that story with you guys. I met Monique, and I shared with you the beautiful exchange that we had. She is just like what you have ever seen her do anywhere, doing anything. And she was, because we were in a club, and she was sweaty. She had been on the dance floor and doing her thing. But she was really sweaty, and she goes, "No, sugar, I don't." I go, "No, it's okay, Monique." And she embraced me as if I knew her. Like, anybody that would have seen that hug would have said, they just would have sworn we must be related. Like, they must be related. They must be, because it was so genuine. And y'all know I'm somebody who was from the heart. I'm a very emotional person. I feel energy. I'm clairvoyant. I have a sixth sense. I know genuality when I see it and when I'm receiving it. And what I was giving her was genuine, and what she was giving me was genuine. And that's what made those two spirits coming together so beautiful. I'm telling you, it is the best hug I ever got from anybody that was famous. And I've hugged a lot of famous people. It was genuine, it was real, and we stood and we talked. Then it wasn't until after that, when I was doing the research for the video when she was on the Breakfast Club, and I brought you guys that and That is the first time that I heard her tell the story about Patti LaBelle. She said she was young and she had gone to a Patti LaBelle concert. And she said she watched after the show, after Patti was in heels and had done all this doing and and she stood there and she hugged everybody who wanted a hug and spoke to them as if they were the only person that existed. And she told herself that one day when she was there, she would make sure that she did the exact same thing. And in that moment, I realized I had been the beneficiary of that. That was 2 separate incidents converging. Me meeting her in person, having that experience, then years later hearing her say this, and those two coming together. That's evident and valid truth. A testimony to her character. Do you understand? This is a solid sister. Solid. And who, with just righteousness and kindness, could talk you out of your own house if she thought you were wrong to have that house. She would never have to raise her voice. She wouldn't have to get violent. All she needs is the truth, and that's what she stands on. And that's what she displayed on this show. Now she says, it goes, everyone has something to say about the racist Rosanne situation, and now Monique is taking her turn at the mic. I got to stop and say this before I go in, because I said to you guys when I covered the Rosanne thing, I'm sure because my thinking is I wouldn't think anything else, so it wouldn't change. So I'm sure that I opened up that video saying, I don't have any, like, Rosanne has never been on my radar as someone who's, ooh, watch out for her, she's a racist. You know, like, I wasn't a fan of the Rosanne show. I didn't watch it. I didn't need it. I probably didn't even understand it, just whatever, but she wasn't like on my radar as that. And typically in Hollywood, in entertainment, because there is such a forced diversity, we always hear them bitching about, the Oscars so white, and, they're not doing enough black films and not doing this and that. So all that stuff that comes to fruition, fine. But go and be in Hollywood. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've been on video shoots. I've been on movie shoots. I've been on television. I've been in movies. I've done it all. And I've been around those environments. And I will tell you, it is the most diverse fucking place you will ever be in your life. Because you might be watching an all-white show and be like, ain't nobody, like even Friends. You might have seen just all fucking white people on Friends, but if that camera panned around and you could see the grips and the camera people and the craft services and the da-da-da-da-da, it looks like the fucking League of Nations. It's very easy to get a job in Hollywood doing some of the grunt work. You see, main thing they're looking for is that you have to have a sense of airheadness, like that you're not really interested in being anything deep, and like you won't be taking secrets away, that you just kind of come across as like you just know, like you're not somebody who's willing to speak up about any fucking thing. You see, and then there you are at all the Hollywood parties, and you're showing up near red carpets, even if you're not on them, etc., etc. All right, so I just I say that also because, like I said, she wasn't on my radar as anybody racist or any kind of way. And I'm saying that by default that she's in Hollywood and all that, you're less inclined because you're dealing with people of all different races and colors. We know that. It still don't mean your ass can't be a fucking bitch ass racist. We know that. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. You see? Just like, when you have hip hoppers or somebody that's trying to say that they don't like gay people, but you're in the entertainment industry, you're not going to be existing in the entertainment industry nowhere without coming across gay people. You're not. Because a lot of those jobs are the jobs that nobody else, or jobs that they can get where they can get a job no place else. Where they can be dainty and on whatever and transgender and all the expressions of gay people. You understand? So they just fit right in Hollywood and it's no big deal. No big deal. So I wasn't really surprised, and I really didn't really take it that serious because you remember she sang the national anthem many years back and trashed it, and she was blackballed for that, damn near. Well, she wasn't blackballed because she was worth a whole lot of money to the fucking network. But, there was a big dust up and a scandal and all of it. I'm just putting things into context before we get into this. And so, she's a comedian. And she was one of the most successful comedians because when you go back and you get to understand what the numbers were on the Roseanne show, and how much she was commanding, and how many new roads she was and new paths she was beating for women, probably going to be mostly white women by default, but she was breaking a lot of ground on that show, Roseanne. You have to take all these things into context. And so when you're in Hollywood and you're at different parties, or maybe you don't get invited, or maybe you get invited to this and maybe something, because Hollywood is all about being seen and who you know. Being seen and who you know. So you could be at a function and you don't know anybody, but the next function, I saw you at the Vanity Fair thing. I was there. You'd probably know nobody and probably lied your bitch way ass in, but now you were seen. Being seen and who you know. Being seen and who you know. Now, so I'm sure that she was doing it as a benevolent act. As Monique tells the story, when she had the Monique show, she couldn't get people to come on, even people that looked like her that were big stars, because they had big white management that said, no, she's kind of an urban show and that's just not a good show for you, and this and the third. So she couldn't get a lot of guests to come on, you see, even though she was killing the ratings in late night television on her show. Little known fact, she was killing the ratings. Monique was like slaying them dead, like done. You can't. Also, when you start a new show, there's this catty little thing in Hollywood where everybody wants to be seen on the popular shows. Oh, are you doing Letterman? I just did Ellen. I'm doing Jimmy Fallon. I just did Oprah. You feel me? It's very like disgusting. But that's how the shit goes. Like, even The Real, y'all know is my favorite talk show is The Real. They struggle to get people on that show, and it's a fantastic show. They're in their 4th season. Struggled. They're now just starting to really be able to get real caliber people because now they got an Emmy. But it's just this thing in Hollywood. People just don't want to go on your show and this and that. So then when you get to the dumbass black Christian minded people that say fuck that won't have the balls to say fuck that. That's our sister Monique. And her show is the bomb and I'm going. She's stuck. Well, she tells the story. When she couldn't get any of these high priced people, black or white, there was a little white woman who had a big ass show, who was known internationally, that said, I'll come do the show. Done. Now, she owes her that. I don't expect Monique to be the militant, slay every fucking white person on the earth that I am. So I have to see it from her eyes. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody's not a revolutionary, and that kills a little piece of me every time that I have to acknowledge that about any of our people. You know, a little piece of me dies. So I have to see it through the prism of a non-revolutionary, you know? And so she's a woman in Hollywood. She is a comedian. Rosanne is a woman in Hollywood, and she's a comedian. Monique has made history. Rosanne has made history. So there's a kinship there, just as colleagues. So she would look like the very thing that she's fighting against with Tyler Perry, Oprah, and fake ass Lee Daniels. She would look like that exact same thing, and indeed not just look like, but be that same thing. If she threw that out and got on the bandwagon of, yeah, she's some bullshit, and how dare she say that? She shouldn't have said that about Valerie Jarrett, and this and the third. You see what I'm saying? She would have lost all of her credibility with me, because that would have been like, okay, that's not character right there. That's not the Monique I know. That's not the Monique I know. You see? So she was consistent. She was consistent. And she did say, you know, she needs to call up Valerie Jarrett and apologize, and she needs to have a conversation with her and this, that, and the third. But she kept on her side and said, well, look, here's where I'm at. This is why I can't throw her under the bus and won't. But that she's standing with conviction and without apology is worthy of respect and honor. And the fact that I know unequivocally that it comes from a good place. She's not trying to be controversial. She's not trying to impress nobody. Or if I say this will make me look good and people will think this and the third. That's not Monique. That's not who this woman is. She's interested in the truth. Living it, telling it, proclaiming it, giving it. Do you understand me? We'll read on. The 2009 Academy Award winning actress appeared on KTLA's Morning News on Friday, 27th July, to discuss her troubles in Hollywood. Okay, so this has just happened Friday. I didn't realize that. Well, I was going to say this is yesterday, but it's not, because now it's, y'all don't want to know what time it is. It's wee hours Sunday morning. Anyway, to discuss her troubles in Hollywood, and told the show's host precisely what she thinks of Rosanne Barr. Quote, I remember when I had the Monique show, and there was a big, major black superstar talent that had white representatives, and they told their talent, how the fuck do you stop this shit? Is there anyone to stop these damn things? Fucking memes and shit. It's so childish. And that shit has got to give you a goddamn, what do you call it? When somebody, a seizure. There was big, major black superstar talent that had white representatives. And they told their talent, that show is too black, and we really don't want you to go on there, Monique said. But there was a white woman named Rosanne Barr that showed up for me. And they didn't hear the conversation when the cameras weren't rolling. that woman was giving me some powerful, or giving me some beautiful words. Monique called Rosanne her sister in comedy and noted she wouldn't put Barr, on the racist list. Now they're using my fucking wife. Not only did she, this is distracting, not only did she share her own personal feelings about Rosanne, but Monique wants everyone else to give the disgraced comedian another chance. Quote, my sister made a mistake, and she said something I know she wishes she could take back, said Monique. But what I would ask is we don't throw her away. I want to stop and say this. You know, a lot of people were having issue with her saying sister. Y'all know she was doing that with Amy Schumer, so that's not new. She calls everybody brother and sister. She just does. I don't have to like it either, because no white heifer is my sister. The bitch is not. I'm so sorry. But again, I have to go through the prism of her eyes. We know that's how Monique speaks. You see? Monique even went so far as to speak directly to Rosanne, saying, you have a friend in me. You know, and that's an important statement right there, because again, it's why I always tell my people, you got to get out and experience things other than just your pathetic little small little tiny ass life. You've got to have an eclectic experience, because through that you're not even able to if you don't do those things, you're not even able to imagine another way of thinking, another way of feeling, what somebody might really be going through, because your world is too small and you have no fucking references. Your library has a book of one, your bitch ass. You understand? When you need like the fucking, I don't even know the names of any great libraries, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Got them at the Library of Congress. You see, that's just beaming to the ceiling with books and shit. That's the type of life experience you need. So that when I make the next statement and say, you know, she's in a different place, I get it. You see, many of you, I just left you behind because your life is too small. It's too small. You don't have the references. You don't have it. I just left you behind. Now, this woman, you don't know what it's like to be in a place. First of all, you don't know what fame in Hollywood is. You just don't know what that is. You don't. Secondly, to now have been blackballed and nobody coming to your rescue by the likes of Oprah fucking Winfrey, the most famous woman on the planet, Tyler Perry, who cares? Fuck, just whatever. All right, and fake Ashley Daniels. To not lose your mind, you understand? Every story that has come before her, where that caliber has turned on her and on them and ruined their career and done things like that, those people are all in graves now, everybody. You need to know that. Those are the tragic Hollywood stories that turned to drugs and were never seen again. And there was some nondescript picture taken by the Inquirer last minute, 2 weeks before they croaked and died of a heroin overdose or something. This woman is still rising. And she's in the eye of a storm that you can't even fucking relate to because your life is too small. You haven't had the experiences. You just haven't had them. You don't know. You just don't know. So she understands. Now, if she really thought that Rosanne was a fucking straight out racist, Monique wouldn't have been up there saying shit about the bitch other than I don't know what to tell you. But she knows her. You see? And in her heart, I'm sure she thinks that Rosanne is one of the good white people that don't exist. But that's another video. We've done that video. Gonna try and stay on Monique right now. Anyway, so she saw a kinship there. Not only I owe this woman to pay her back to speak the truth of what I know about her. Because when you're down and people are kicking you, you'd expect at least those who know you best to just come forth and say, no, I know what the truth is. I know what the truth is. And this is what it really is. You just need somebody to just say that. Remember on the campaign trail when fucking John McCain, who's 390,000 years old, and the bitch, they even did a parody of it on SNL, and the bitch, he goes, "What would you like to say, ma'am?" And she goes, "Obama, I read up on him. He's an Arab." And and she was just trying to come up with something more vicious to say. And John McCain stopped the bitch and goes, no, he's not an Arab. He's actually a decent man and a decent family man who I just happen to disagree with on some of the issues. And it was a huge moment. Like, are you fucking serious that he just said that? Because it was the truth. We still cannot stand the fuck out of John McCain. Fuck him. But god damn it, he spoke truth in that moment. And it mattered. It mattered. I'll give you another sighting. Many years ago, well, not many years ago, whatever, years ago, on The View, they did that split screen. Remember, it made history because it was that fucking bitch that I hope falls off a fucking skyscraper face first into the fucking asphalt, bitch. Elizabeth Hasselbeck, her and Rosie O'Donnell were split screen. The whole thing that pissed Rosie O'Donnell off was there was some question that she was being asked. And when they asked Elizabeth the question, who works with fucking Rosie every day and had been working with her long enough to know how to answer that question, she didn't fucking back her up. I will punch anybody in the teeth who fucking knows me and doesn't speak when the shit counts. To me, there is no forgiveness after that shit. Like, I'm done with your ass for all eternity. So she had a responsibility to the truth. To the truth. She's on television. They're going to ask her about this because she's a woman and she's a comedian. Of course she has to speak. And she's got to tell that truth. This woman came on my show when it wasn't cool. You see, she had to do that because that was, you have to submit to righteousness. And that was righteous. So she did that. She did that. Then she says, Monique would also like Rosanne Barr and Jarrett to come together and discuss the matter directly. Jarrett recently appeared on The View and had her own comment regarding the situation, summarizing it with Rosanne who? Look. Here's the other flip side of the coin, everybody, is how many of us really give a fuck about Valerie Jarrett? Raise your hands. Who can run down her dossier and everything that she's done? I'd like to see the hands up. I'd like to see that. No, because there aren't any, including myself. Because I know her and Barack's relationship goes back, many years. She's been friends with the Obamas, and I get that. And she's a very educated and accomplished woman. But from the moment he appointed her to his cabinet, I was like, the bitch is not black. She just ain't. And it's just weird when I see people that look like that up there talking as if they're black, Like, I'm sure she is black and she thinks that, whatever. But like I say, it's a certain requisite that come with shit for me. God damn it, if I can't see the melanin, I'm not going to imply it. I'm not. I'm just not. I could not see Valerie Jarrett in a grocery store and think, oh, that's a sister right there. I go, oh, that's a white chick. You feel me? And I think they actually kind of like her makeup kind of makes her even look a little bit more ethnic, but I dare to say, Allahu Alam, I dare to say that I've seen either pictures or video or something of her, like raw footage of something, and it's just like, oh, girl. I think she's got like freckles and everything, dude. Like, I can't. So we should also consider that in this discussion, who the subject of Roseanne's attack was, And Roseanne has always been very political. And because of her politics, she's controversial. And I always tell you that word only shows up when truth is present with this white devil. You see, even for their own. So, it's all kind of a big dust up over nothing in a way, as far as it relates to Monique. I don't want my people to somehow think that Monique is selling out and how dare she and oh my God, and I can't. because it's not that at all. This is the Monique I would expect to have showed up. You understand me? Anything else would have been unfucking acceptable. And I would have known that she was dancing. I would have been like, nah, she's just dancing around, and this is some bullshit, and Monique, you really have to go. See, there go Valerie Jarrett right there. That is a white bitch I would want to slap if I seen her someplace. You feel me? Like, I can't. That's her, though. I thought we would get a bigger picture. Oh, there we go. Allahu Akbar. Valerie Jarrett says Rosanne Barr's racist tweet. And you know what? She looked like, what's your girl that runs BET? Deborah. They got that same mouth. Kind of the same hair. You see what I'm saying? And y'all know I've always had an issue with people that are supposed to be historically black, or they're running some historically black institution or something like that. And ooh, so-and-so's black. And then they don't fucking look obviously black. I cannot with that shit. Because to me, that's just prepping my mind for these mixed motherfuckers that's going to come along, which none of them will be fucking black. If you don't look like you melanated, goddammit, you are not. And I won't be accepting you or identifying you as such. You don't get the credit without the work. But if you didn't know that this was Valerie Jarrett and that she was the woman that served under Obama and what her backstory was, and I just pulled up the picture, that's a white bitch. That's a white chick. So I can absolutely believe Roseanne's drunken ass, because I saw the clip of her drunken ass, when she said that she thought the bitch was white. I can't really hate her. She looked like a white woman. She talked like a white woman. She got that little stingy walk like a white woman. No stride of strength like a black woman in her walk. She walks like a pixie. You see? Watch Oprah Winfrey walk. That's a walk. Do you understand me? Oof. I can't even think about Oprah's walk. I get emotional. Do you see her power in her walk when you watch Oprah? My God, she commands presence. You just can't even, you can't. You know. I wanted to scan that to see if there was anything new. Yeah, it's going to be the same rehashing. And that is, this is, goddammit, KTLA 5. I think I was saying Fox 5. Whatever. Because I think one of the troops said that to me. And then at one point they asked her, they said, when you won the Academy Award, did the offers start coming in? And she said on this show, the offers started coming in once I won the award, but they looked like that I had just came off the Greyhound bus. You see, I tried to get across to you guys, and some people, you're just not going to get it because there's a veil over your heart. A veil over your heart. But I tried to explain to you then that you don't know what Monique is dealing with. You have no idea, because they make fame look so easy now. You just see it and you just think it's just like your fucking life, and it's nothing like your life. And for her to be an African woman in the eye of this storm, I don't give a fuck what you're going to do unless you're going to come to me and tell me Monique killed my mama, and my mama been in the grave since I was born, 6 months after I was born. It's not really shit you're going to be able to tell me. Like, I rock with Monique till the fucking bitter end, and that's it. And if you can't understand nuance and context, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's some white bitches that Monique cannot stand and wants to snatch up. But you must understand that she's in an industry where you either have to get the fuck out of it, or you got to be diplomatic. Pick your battles. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can never be in that line of work because I'm slaying everybody. But that's me. You see, unfortunately there aren't enough of me. And they're not making any more of me. You see? So, she is in that world. And it operates differently. But she's been able to hold on to her core as a human being. And that is so important. That is so important. You understand that? I rock with Monique, period, the end. There was nothing inappropriate about what she said. There was nothing inappropriate about her, uh, you know, defending Rosanne, because she wasn't really defending her. She was telling, this is the Rosanne I know, this is what she did for me. You understand? And then she went on to say, her and Valerie need to get together and they need to have a conversation, trying to promote some sisterhood amongst them. Not that she's going to sit around and referee it or anything like that. She's just saying. So where was the insurrection? Where was it? There wasn't. There was just small-minded African people, and there will be. All they heard was, Rosanne is a racist. That's all they heard. That's all they saw. And then they saw Monique said something positive. They didn't even get to the Rosanne part. Monique said something positive about, and they fucking kirked off. No thought, no intellectual brevity, no reflection, no weighing. You understand? Damn, my people. I want you to be reactive, but y'all asses reactive in the wrong goddamn way. Shit. You react to shit you don't need to be reacting to, and you sit on your ass when you need to be fucking reacting to shit. Oh my god, I can't. Had to reach for my punch, y'all. Anyway, for those of us who do stand with Monique, let us see this for what it really is and stand with this sister. It was a beautiful interview. I was once again so proud of her, and I just think, like, man, if she was my wife, I just can't see no way that I just would. Well, I'm not a good example because I would do whatever my woman wanted me to do, but I try to cast myself as one of these dudes that's ego strong and think they gotta be beating their chest in order to look like a man and all that bullshit, And I just think that she has to be able to disarm any man, any human being, quite frankly. It don't have to just be a man. She's so disarming because she's so kind and she looks directly at you when she speaks to you. I remember those doe eyes looking at me when I met her. I was the only thing that mattered to her, and we were brother and sister in that moment. She was just as glad to see me as if she hadn't seen me in 10 years, and yet she had never met me. She wasn't intoxicated. There wasn't any drinking. It was exactly what you see there. So just like she had to testify about her experience with Rosanne, I got to testify about my experience with my sister. My sister. My sister. That's my sister. That's my sister. And I stand behind her to the end of the earth. When you love anything, everybody, you got to stand by it. But love is not, and we don't even use that word, god damn it, because I don't want to re-confuse y'all about love. But what I'm trying to say is, in the fake, absolutely wrong context of love that most of y'all know about, we'll just use that. Oh no, we'll say a fan, because I'm careful of that word love. When you're a fan of anything, like I'm a fan of, y'all know Janet Jackson is my wife, and I will fight you where you sit if you talk shit about my wife. Damn it. But I am the first person to talk shit about my wife in a heartbeat, because I have to keep it 100. How I'm going to say that's my wife if I'm not willing to see the flaws? If I'm not willing to see when it's some bullshit? I gotta be able to say, no, Janet is not a fucking Celine Dion ass singer. No. She's not gonna be featured at whatever opera house to just hear her sing. That's not gonna happen. You understand? And other things, but and I know when she being fake as shit. Y'all don't even know how fake Janet be being sometimes. I don't want to say it too loud. She's in the other room. Anyway. But I think I hear her stirring, y'all. Shh, shh. We gotta keep it down, y'all. You gonna wake up my wife. Anyway, but I'm honest about it, you know, and I don't try and defend the indefensible. You know, what I look like somebody what would I look like trying to tell somebody that Janet sounds as good as Mariah Carey? I should be punched. I should just be punched, dude. Like, just we're not even violent. We just had to punch you, Jedi, just because you just such a fucking dumbass. We didn't have a choice, you know, and that would be fine. I get it. I get why Monique. First of all, she didn't go there to talk about Roseanne. She went there to talk about her own shit. But her and this guy that's on this morning show, they have history together. They're like old friends. At one point, they're holding hands throughout the interview and everything, you know. So it's that type of thing, you know. Again, context. And there's a comedian guy that I don't know who he is that she brought with her that I guess is on tour with her or something, whatever. But of course, they're going to ask her about Roseanne. Come on. It's like when Michael Jackson passed away. You may not even knew Michael or work with him ever or never seen him. You're a celebrity. You show up on a show, first thing I'll ask you, Michael Jackson. Because it's the it story. You see? So it's like that. It's like along that class. So she's a comedian and she's a woman. This shit is happening to Roseanne. You're a comedian and a woman and you know her. Boom. Tell me about Roseanne. But there's a deeper message. I'll end with this. There's a deeper message there, everybody. If you can just take Roseanne out of it. When she talks about just throwing people away. Just throwing them away. You know. And I've been consistent with that shit. Even when I talked about who was it? Kevin Spacey. And I said I don't even know how the fuck old when I did my video about the hashtag Me Too movement and the Oprah speech. And I was saying, and at one point I mentioned Kevin Spacey, and I go, I don't even know how the fuck old Kevin Spacey is, and I think I've asked the white bitch on my phone, and however old it came out back that he was, I said then, I was like, he's this many years of life. This isn't all the shit he's done. My point I was trying to make was, and he was accused of touching some boy or man or teenager, or so I don't know what the fuck, and I don't really give a fuck. But my point is, he's more than just that event, you know. And I only know this event of Roseanne and the Star Spangled Banner bullshit, you know. After the original Roseanne show has been off for many years, anytime I've run across her accidentally online, she is talking about all the government conspiracy shit that we talk about. I mean, she's understanding some things, you see, about, you know, America and all these things and all that. So that's really been how I just like, and I just knew she was Roseanne. I never thought she was funny and or any of that stuff, you know. And then this happens, you know. So we're not throwing our sister away. Damn it. We're not. We're not. We're not. Monique is still the poised, gracious queen. Strength and grace under fire. She is a study in patience. You need to know power when it's in your face. Because sometimes it can be so blinding, as it must be to many of you, that you can't even see it. So you need to just get the fuck out of the room. Last thing I'll say, I promise. In closing, I mentioned earlier, you know, in Hollywood, it's about being seen and who you know. And there's a story that I want to share with you that I went into in a previous work. Don't ask me which one it was or when it was. But I realized when I watched that back that I hadn't finished telling you the story. And it's relatable to what we're talking about and when I mentioned that earlier about being seen and who you know. You know, there used to be a club in Los Angeles back when I lived in California 3,000 years ago. And it was called Vertigo. and it was like a big warehouse type club downtown someplace. And the line used to go down the fucking block and around the corner. And they had a velvet rope and these big ass bouncers, and nobody's getting in. I mean, it was the total cliche of like when you see in movies where there's just like nobody's getting in and shit. Like, is it even open, bitch? Like, what are you doing? And so I knew someone at MCA Records. Didn't know the bitch, but had been to MCA Records and had met the receptionist. I feel like her name was Susan right now. I'm just going to use Susan. I think that was it. But I'm going to use that name. And so, and by the way, it was such a scandal, everybody, that they literally got a court injunction. Like, there was so many complaints and scandal and like people just over it and all this. They literally got a court injunction to stop the club from doing that shit. Because people were so frustrated because they travel from everywhere and they've got on their best, and now you got to stand down the street and around the corner, and they just fucking just not letting people in, and they pick and this and the third, and I was over that shit. Well, I'm never someone who's at the end of any line. Not being arrogant. I'm just saying, like, I'm just not the end of the line dude. I'm not him. I just don't ever feel like I belong there. I feel like I belong at the front of the line. I just do. And this was no different. So, we went ahead and called. Oh, by the way, Prince bought it, and it was now called Glam Slam. All right. So, I went ahead and called up MCA Records and got the receptionist number because I'd already met the bitch before when I was at fucking MCA Records. Fine. So now I call the fucking Glam Slam. We call. And we say, yeah, this is Susan from MCA Records. I'd like to put the following people on your guest list tonight. Done. Takes a half a second. Now, we got to follow through. So, of course, we're not going to just be pulling up in my fucking whatever car I was driving at the time. We must be pulling up in a stretched white limousine. Thank you very much. So our stretched white limousine pulls up. I don't even get out of the limo. All our party, we don't even get out. We let my cousin David go up to the bouncer because David's a big guy and he did fucking security and everything. And so David goes up and says, yeah, we are on our party is VIP. They're on the list from MCA Records. Boom. You know what the dude said? Who was your contact? David goes, it's Susan. Now, we're sitting in the limousine. David turns around and gives us the wave. The driver springs into action, gets out, comes around, opens the door. Of course, everybody in the fucking line is looking and taking pictures and shit. The velvet rope is being moved back and we're being ushered in. Understand that. You see? Being seen and who you know. I'll give you one more. Back in the 1990s, I took my second to the oldest sister to the Arsenio Hall show. And it was her birthday. Her birthday is September 11th, and it happened to be his show taping day, and it was his show. It was his first show back live, or his first show back from hiatus. The break or whatever. And Paula Abdul was on the show. All right. And we had VIP tickets because there's a lot of places. How I was actually having dinner in Century City and at this very sha poo poo restaurant. And there was, they have audience people that sometimes come around. And so this girl comes up and says, would you like a ticket to a show? Would you guys like VIP tickets to a show? And I'm like, well, what is it? And who is it? I don't understand. And anyways, and it was VIP tickets for their Arsenio Hall show. I was like, yeah. Now, at that time, I didn't even know I was going to be taking my sister. I just knew I wanted tickets to go see Goddammit Arsenio. And plus, he owed me $10, but I'm not. That's going to be in the book, y'all. Don't even try to get that out of me right now. So I'm saying that's like chapter 19 of the book. Don't even. So I'm saying, so I'm saying. But anyway, So we were in the dog pound. You know, when Arsenio used to come out, he used to name the dog pound over there. You know, those are the people that are da 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 da. And so when the show was over, now because now Paula Abdul, we've seen her on the show, we've seen her over there talking. I'm a dancer. I was in the height of my dance career and choreo and being a choreographer and all that stuff. Paula Abdul was like, if you're the fucking you play basketball and now you're going to meet LeBron James, like you're in the same building with him. You can't let LeBron leave that building, and you know you're a fucking qualified basketball player. LeBron is the it. You gotta get to him. So, and I also always tell you, I'm never any place where there's celebrities and I don't meet them. It does not happen. It doesn't happen. If I'm in the same proximity as somebody famous, if you're with me, prepare, you're going to meet them. So, when they start letting the audience out, actually before we went in to see the show, because we were a little early, because we wanted to, we didn't know, we knew we had VIP tickets, but we didn't understand what that really meant. So we would have gotten our seats no matter what, but that's something else. Anyways, so we were able to go through this gate, which is the back door of stage 29, where Arsenio Hall's show used to tape. And me and my sister were just loitering around. And there was this limousine sitting out there, like a navy blue limousine, Lincoln. And my sister starts macking the driver. I'm over it. And at one point, we were actually sitting in the limousine. He was like, "Yeah, this is this is Paula Abdul's limousine." We're like, "What? This is Paula's limousine?" Then Kid and Play come out the backstage door, and I almost fell over and fainted, because I promise you, I think probably the day before I had just seen them on TV and they were in New York. And that's the first thing that came out of my mouth. I was like, Kid and Play. I was like, "What's up, man?" And it was like, "What's up, man?" And I was like, "I thought you guys were in New York." They was like, "Yeah, we just flew in for the show." So we chopped it up a little bit. I didn't think to get their fucking autograph, because I'm an idiot. And now we've got to start going, because now it's time to start. They're gonna start letting the audience in. Now I see two of the dancers, of Paula's dancers, who I happen to know, not personally, but I knew them. And so I start writing out a whole thing to Paula, who I am, my name, address, and phone number, and I'm a dance choreographer. I'm a big fan. I'd like to know, how do I get a chance to get on one of your auditions? I'd love to be one of your dancers. Da, 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 da. All right. So I gave it to one of the girls. Her name was Kim. Now we go on around to the thing now, and we go in the show, and now the show's over, and we're coming out. So that arm that goes up and down, that we had previously been behind, yakking it up with Kid and Play and Paula's limousine driver and all that, and the dancers, well, now there's a security guard there. And we're going back around there, because I told my sister, I said, we got to go back around there. We've got to, I have to meet Paula. I have to meet Paula. Like, I have to. I can't be here and not meet Paula. So we go back around there, and the guard is just about to give us grief when I see those two girls. And they yelled something at me first. They go, "Yeah, so we got the information for Paula," because they were just like, I don't know if they'd had shots or something. They just had turned into airheads. And like, "We got this, the information for Paula. We got the stuff for Paula." And I was like, "Okay, thank you guys so much." So the security guard thought I was one of her dancers. My hand to Allah. He thought I was one of her dancers. So he went ahead and let us come back through. He let us come back through. Now we're standing back out there at the tail end of the limousine. Me, my sister, and the driver, and these two dancers. They went someplace else, but then they came back. And then the door opens, and out walks Paula Abdul, Arsenio Hall, and the rest of the dancers. And there was like a couple other, like maybe some assistant type people. I don't know who. I still don't know who they were to this day, and I don't really give a damn. But we're standing there, and remember, I'm very contained when I'm interacting with the celebrity, and when I see them, and you would have no idea that I'm doing somersaults and I'm screaming like a 16-year-old girl. You have no idea. I'm very collected, very professional, very just whatever, because you get so much more out of the celebrity when you do that. So I was just going to choose my moment to speak. So the way that, people were kind of moving slowly because Paula and Arsenio are still talking and the dancers are kind of meandering. And now it ends up that we're all at the tail end of the limousine in almost a full circle. And I ended up, now I'm standing directly next to Paula Abdul. And I want to let you know, I don't give a fuck how many times you done seen her on TV and all this bullshit. That was a Brazilian woman standing next to me. You need to know that Paula Abdul is a lot darker than you've ever seen her on TV. Because she's Brazilian and French Canadian. So, I'm dying because she's standing right there next to me. She's standing on my left shoulder. So I just wait for the moment you're listening to the, and you know your moment. Finally, I turned to her and said, "Hi, Paula. My name is," and introduced myself. And she didn't believe my name was what it was. I pulled out my driver's license and showed it to her. And she goes, "Oh my God, his name really is." And then, And for 20 minutes, Paula Abdul and I stood there talking. The dancers were still standing there. Arsenio, my sister, they were yakking. Different people were yakking. But Paula and I were standing right there talking. And I began to tell her, I'm a choreographer and I really admire your work. Your stuff is going to be something that is going to be around it's going to be a standard for dance. It's up there with Fosse and the greats and things like that. And she began to tell me what channels I could go through to get my audition tape to her and stuff like that. In fact, I found one of my audition tapes and I almost uploaded it for you guys, and I probably will once I can get shit uploaded to Black Junction. I will put up one of my audition tapes. But so boom, now it's Paula. You see, being seen and who you know. Being seen and who you know. And so both those dynamics were in place because I was being seen by those dancers, those girls. Now the security guard thinks we know them. He thought I was one of the dancers and let us through the little arm thing to be right back over there. Being seen and who you know. It's everything. How many little Hollywood soirees have I been at, and these fake ass people, first thing they come to you when they've never seen you. So first they, who do you know? Who do you know? Like they say that shit to you. Who do you know? Who do you know? Like, fuck you, bitch. Do you know me, bitch? Do you know me? You see, even when I did the television movie with Vanity, when I showed up to the set, the two bitches that I told, when they told me that she was in hair and makeup, because when I show up on the set, there's hundreds of extras, plus crew and directors, and I don't know none of these people. And Vanity is the one that asked me to come and be in the damn movie. So the two heifers that I first encountered when you first enter the stage door, and I said, and they were looking at me up like I totally don't belong, because they will give you that shit in Hollywood in a heartbeat. And I was like, yeah, and I didn't know if she was calling herself Denise or Vanity on the set. So I'm like, well, I'm Vanity's friend. She told me to come be in the movie. Like, well, she's in hair and makeup right now. And giving me this, like, little curt little attitude. I go, okay, well, can you take me to her? We'll tell her you're here. Like, as if to ask for us to take you to her would be, like, blasphemous and shit. Like, how dare you ask, So then when the first producer comes over to me and he goes, "Did you just get here?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Here, I love your look. I want to lead my next shot off of you." So he takes me to one of the tables. Remember, it's a club. It's this huge club. So he takes me to this table, and there's all these other extras at the table. They've been on this damn picture since its inception. That's been shot in different locations and everything. I'm at the last 6 days of shooting. Excuse me. At a goddamn soundstage in Culver City. They know I don't belong. So the first thing they bitch ass say to me, how did you get this movie? Who do you know? That shitty little you don't belong thing, And I said to them, almost disbelieving it myself because I couldn't believe it was even coming out of my mouth. I said, well, Vanity asked me to come be in the movie. They didn't believe me at all. They didn't believe me. They didn't say it, but they absolutely showed it. There was not, oh my God, there was no like, oh, that's cool, that's great, oh no, no. It was shade, and I felt it. I felt it. It was iced shade. Until a few minutes later, the door opens, which is 1,000 yards away from me. The set is completely quiet because they're setting up for another shot and they're doing da. And all you hear is baby, because you could see me from where she enters, and she made a beeline to me and started giving me kisses all over my face, and you could just feel the collective cracking of faces at my table. Come on, let me take you over so you can meet Jackie, And then there I was being led over to meet Jackie Collins, Vanity holding my hand and leading me over, you see, to meet Jackie Collins. So, being seen in who you know. Being seen in who you know. And the last final thing I'll say is, I also mentioned to you that I would tell you why this was brilliant, what Monique did. She represented the truth and she was forthright and all that. But why it was also brilliant is because Rosanne, no matter how she acts out, she's still a white bitch. And it's a good look for this African woman who is in turmoil in this damn industry to latch herself on to a white heifer and use her. You understand what I'm telling you? And that's not Monique's intent, but I promise you she's aware of that. Let us be clear. I end it here. This is the Jedi.